That was former school teacher and education reform advocate Rebecca Friedrichs, who joins us now. So Rebecca, I'm really glad that you're on tonight. I saw your speech earlier this week. I'm sure a lot of our viewers did as well. It was very well received, very early on in the convention as well, which has to mean something. So tell us, what was that experience like, and what was the message that you were trying to get across?
Well, the experience was such an honor. I'm still pinching myself that, a teacher who spent almost 30 years in kindergarten to fourth grade, sitting on the floor with little kids, had the honor of speaking at the convention. And what was I trying to get across? Well, a lot of parents don't realize, a lot of teachers don't realize that the people burning down our country, these radical, supposed grassroots movements, they're not grassroots at all. They're organized, funded, controlled by the teachers' unions, not by loving teachers, not by great teachers, but by unions posing as teachers or, radicals posing as teachers' unions. And so my hope is that I could educate teachers, because most teachers have no idea that their unions are behind this, and teachers are funding these unions about $5 billion annually, tax-free. And so we've won teachers the right to stop paying them. And so I'm hoping teachers will see the truth so that we can restore our republic, restore our educational system, and protect our children from harm.
And Rebecca, right now, the conversation when it comes to school is about choice. And I mean that in a number of different contexts. A lot of times when we turn on the media right now, it's about the choice of whether or not parents can send their kids back to school, or whether teachers want to go back to school as well. But we also look at this administration, and a big theme that I've seen so far throughout the convention is the idea of school choice more broadly, giving parents a voucher maybe to go somewhere else, or giving at least the parents the opportunity to make their education decisions for their children. Can you really break down that idea and tell us why it's so important for parents to be able to make that decision?
Sure, I'd love to. And it's important for teachers too. Just FYI to your viewers, every single great teacher I know wants to be in the classroom right now and is very frustrated that these unions are misrepresenting them. So educational freedom scholarships that are being proposed by President Trump are a tax credit. They are the best solution I've ever read thus far. Here's how they work. An average American like myself or like you can give a donation to an organization that then gives that money to a family. And the family uses that money to choose any school they want. It could be homeschool, private school, parochial school, online school, public school, whatever they want. In other words, the family has choice to do what's best for each child because every child's different. So the great thing about this is then whoever donates gets a tax credit. So if someday someone comes along and tries to harm this program, well, then average Americans just quit giving to it, right? So it's flexible, and it's just has a part in it that actually also protects religious liberties. So in other words, you can't force a Christian school to teach some of the radical agendas that are out there, like Black Lives Matter agenda or the radical sex ed. You protect that. You protect your homeschoolers. So I just think it's a wonderful education freedom scholarship program by our president.
And not only from people I've talked to, but throughout my own life experiences, I've realized exactly what you're saying. For example, I could probably not succeed well in a trade school, for example, whereas there are people out there who did go to a trade school or are making far more money than I and don't have student loan debts, anything of that nature. It's kind of the old saying, if you judge everyone by the same type of talent, everybody's going to be judged differently. You can't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, as the expression goes.
Exactly.
And I think that, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I would just like to say my own son is a welder, and they kept telling him in high school that he had to go to college, and he did. He started that route and has an AA, but he works at SpaceX, and he's amazing and gets to work on rockets and loves it. Yeah, we're all different. We're all wired different.
That's a perfect explanation right there. And I think any parent knows that even their own children, it's not a one-size-fits-all. I mean, I have two siblings, and I can tell you that my parents would say that we are all very different. They would show a little bit more favoritism to the other two siblings, I would say. But you know what? Here I am. But I think this speaks to a larger issue as well. So when we talk about school choice, especially when it comes to public schools, it seems like Democrats are always on board with funding public schools, but they've been against choice, for example. So can you explain the other side of that argument, why Democrats are so much against school choice?
Sure. Well, Democrats have been completely taken over by the government unions. And the government unions have been completely taken over by Marxists. So you have Marxists running the Democrat Party and the government unions. And so together, why would they be against school choice? I talked about this in my speech. It's because the only way to keep a free republic is with a well-educated, moral citizenry that can self-govern. Well, these Democrats and unions are working together to destroy our republic. They want to bring a socialist, which it leads to communism. Let's just be honest. So this is the government they want to bring. They want to destroy the America as we know it and bring in socialism. So in order to do that, they have to dumb down the curriculum. They have to really dismantle our education system, dismantle our morals. And that's exactly what they're doing. It's tragic. And I hope that folks that have been fooled by it will watch my speech and learn that not to vote for those Democrats, because most people are voting against their values when they vote for that party at this point.
As with most things in politics, it always comes back to control to some degree, and that seems to be what it comes down when it comes to school choice, and it comes to the detriment of, as you said, not only the children, but the parents and the teachers as well, who make up the entire educational system. I think that's very insightful stuff. Rebecca Friedrichs, I really appreciate you coming on tonight, revisiting your speech from the other day, which once again was brilliant, and for coming on the show tonight and breaking it down a little bit more in depth. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure, and I think your parents are proud of you, by the way.
I hope so, but thank you, Rebecca.